This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Looking for your best sleep ever? Sleep Number smart beds are literally made for you. They adapt to your changing needs. So whether you're dealing with sore muscles or running hot at night, your bed automatically adjusts for optimal comfort. Want softer, firmer, cooler, warmer? With personalized firmness settings and temperature control that cools up to 20 times faster than leading competitors, you'll get the perfect sleep environment every night. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now it's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event, up to 50% off, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
Pat?
Yes.
I spent a lot of time in the last month telling the kids I used to have, this isn't the Vikings team you've been accustomed to.
Yes.
It's a different mentality.
Yes, I agreed with you fully.
Yes, you did. And last night at about 11 o'clock, I texted them and I said, remember I've been telling you that this isn't the Vikings team you've been accustomed to? Well, never mind.
Never mind.
What in God's name was that?
I don't know.
I was taken aback.
Here was the highlight of my evening. It's they kick a field goal. It's 7-6. There's 24 seconds to go in the half.
Mm-hmm.
I go upstairs to get a Diet Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Might even done a little tinkle. I don't know. I can't remember. But I come back down and they're kicking a field goal. I said, what the hell happened here?
They connected on a long pass.
So
you missed the
first Reichert
pretty much kicked her right into the stands.
So gave the ball at the 40.
Right.
And they're kicking. I said, what is this, a replay from 2 weeks ago or something? I couldn't figure out what they were doing.
He not only missed that field goal, it wasn't even remotely close.
Late in the game, that was way outside. But
No, I'm saying the kick out of bounds.
The kick out of bounds. They gave the ball at the 40.
No, I'm talking about the field goal, yeah.
He duck hooked it. So, I mean, he looked like the greatest rookie kicker in the history of mankind, and then he got a little ouchy, and now he can't.
Isn't he the leading scorer in history in college football?
Oh, is that true?
Reichert?
Yeah.
I did not know
Didn't
that.
he spend 12 or 13 years at Alabama?
Yeah, probably did.
Yeah.
All right. I would like to start with this, however.
All right.
Pre-game from the distinguished general manager of the Minnesota Vikings.
This is yesterday.
Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. And at Kwesi, wait a minute, is this not him?
Well, I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
It says at not Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah.
Let me see it.
Maybe this wasn't him, but it certainly looked like him. So maybe
Did you get?
This is a bit.
Fun of him.
This
Maybe
is
I got
this is a
taken.
bit.
Oh,
Maybe I got taken.
This is
I
a
got
bit.
taken. Okay. Yes,
That's not him.
that's not him. Now that I look at it, because I just glanced at it, this is not
My
him.
God, you tweet a lot. I'm trying to go through your.
Well, I tweet a lot when they're losing in humiliating fashion. I do. Wait.
Well, finish the story.
This is not Kwesi. This is somebody. Very good satire, though. Very good satire. tonight isn't just another game. It's the culmination of our journey, blah, blah, blah. It's not crazy. I got taken, but you cannot.
Reavers, is that common in your socials where somebody can say, not Tom Brady?
100%.
Oh, so that's probably not him.
That's not him. Because it is so over the top that it just doesn't seem like it. Tonight we march into Detroit, silence the doubters, and stake claim to the North. Tonight we take the NFC. Shucks, I thought I had a column for the weekend, but it's not him. I got suckered. Man, you got to look at everything.
Well,
now,
Pat, now that I'm looking at the tweet that you reposted, because I didn't see this until Kenny made me aware of it.
I just sent it. I didn't respond.
No, I guess what I'm saying is I didn't see it via your Twitter because I was on social as well. But the photograph, the accompanying photograph with the tweet might also have been a little bit of a tipping point. Well, it's the big Viking ship in the water with all the guys.
Not this one.
Yes, it is. I'm looking at it.
Oh.
Patrick Reusse retweeted.
You looking at that close there, Pat? You got cheaters?
Oh, yeah, but it has Kwesi's picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thing, but it's not.
Well, here's another way to do it.
I should have been smart enough to realize this guy hides, basically. He doesn't
I was just going to say, there's another.
Doesn't do anything public.
There's another test here. Has he ever tweeted much?
I don't think he might not even have an account. I wouldn't be surprised. He's a very low-key guy.
The surprise I had at the game was Darnold looked like he had never played before.
You know what? I had this thought. At Christmas, we've just gotten over Christmas, and in fact, we're still celebrating it in some European countries, right? It comes later in some places. And I had, the ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah.
He's sleeping on Sunday evening, right?
Yeah.
Restlessly. And then the ghost of Christmas past comes.
He got in Darnold's head.
And he goes out there. His eyes looked different, didn't they?
Yeah.
Once he started missing a couple of receivers. Now, those guys weren't as open, and it helped that the referees, who drive me crazy generally, said, we're only going to call it when it's really egregious today, right? I mean, you can bounce them around a little bit, and but it just looked different from the get-go. And the other thing is, he got smacked a few times. I mean, they did a wonderful job. They sent 6 guys quite often, and they scrunched him a couple of times. He missed. Jefferson, he missed Jefferson some, but that catch at the back of the end zone, Jefferson usually makes that one that popped out of his hand. And that's you're ahead at halftime if he makes that catch. So
You know who also didn't take that performance very well? Jordan Addison's dad.
Oh, really?
He was posting on the old social media.
Really? Was it now? Are we sure it was Jordan Addison's dad?
Not only are we sure of it, apparently he has a habit of doing this on social media. He also included
his kid caught one pass for 0 yards, kind of offended him.
He included a screenshot of his television set where it paused on Jordan wide open as he was going to the end zone, and it says 6 targets, 1 reception, 0 yards. I want push-ups, the plane ride back nonstop. The defense needs to do them with you for allowing Gibbs to get 4 touchdowns. Also, KOC can do them with y'all because he got out-coached.
So Addison's old man wasn't at the game?
Apparently not, because unless if he was, he got a screenshot of Jordan wide open towards the end zone. So
somebody sent it to him. What's his name?
Rolando Addison Sr.
Rolando Addison Sr. Does he drive fast?
I'm going to guess so.
Does he sleep in the car occasionally?
Is his dog okay?
Is his dog okay? So
does this put an end to this story about multiple teams trying to trade for O'Connell?
That's a bunch of crap.
Who are you going to get for him?
You'd get draft compensation, but it's never going to happen.
It's never happened. People just make stuff up.
Well, there it is, right there.
I know, but who?
Well, Pat, you can't say it's never happened. It has happened a couple times, but there's no way the Vikings are going to do that.
You know how I said the Vikings would win the Super Bowl?
Jake Laser came on, and that's okay.
You know how I've
Jake-
said that? The Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl?
Hi.
I'm not going to say that anymore. And I hope people forget that I said that.
So I shouldn't include that in the headline?
Now,
I don't think so.
Joe,
They still could beat the
if
Rams.
they go and beat the Rams,
Yeah.
they're actually 1-point favorites or something.
2.5.
2.5 Vikings. Then they get to go back to Detroit. If the Packers lose if the Packers lose,
Tampa has to win as well. Tampa needs to
has to win.
Yep.
Tampa has to beat Washington. The Packers have to lose to Philadelphia,
Which I think is
people
likely.
Expect to happen.
Yeah.
But then they go back to Detroit, and you know what, Joe?
Revenge.
Third time.
Not easy to beat a team 3 times in a
That's
single
right.
season. And maybe we get Hockley to ref instead of those guys so that they call every damn touch that anybody gives to each other. So
What has O'Connell said? I did not see his remarks.
he was rather shook up. He was very stumbling through his words, and we did not see the inspirational post-game speech that everybody's been euphoric
Maybe he should have
over.
read not Kwesi's tweet.
Yes,
after
the
the
tweet.
the Minnesota
Boy, am I
paper-
glad I noticed that before.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw that. I just looked to see what his address was, and it said it was very well disguised because it said not Kwesi Adolfo M. It said that was boy, you got to watch it.
Pat, the Minnesota paper didn't even have the score.
You're in St. Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's because I think it's 9:30 copy close, and they
Well, that's
ain't
ridiculous.
changing it.
Well,
Yeah,
that's-
I got it at home. I got 3 or 4 stories at home, but it's they won't hold anymore, Joe. That's just print. We're not too worried about print apparently. So we're just trying to miff everybody. But at least those of us who live 4 miles from where it's printed aren't always getting the early edition anymore. So anyway, I got some of it, but I didn't get much of it. That's for sure.
Now, the Vikes play a week from tonight.
Monday night game, a Monday nighter, and
And there is no
the
Monday
Rams-
night game tonight.
you know it is a coinkydink that they had 2 losses in the middle of the season, 14-2, and they came within a period of 5 days against against the Lions and the Rams, right? The Lions and the Rams. So Rams won't. And Kevin O'Connell, of course, comes from the Rams coaching tree of Sean McVay. So it
Did
will,
the Chargers make the playoffs?
Yes, sir.
yes.
All right, good.
They play the Houstons.
Okay.
Joe, I had this thought about Los Angeles, and Reavers can maybe look this up for me. How many years did they? Is one of the great, amazing mysteries of modern sports is how Los Angeles did not have an NFL team for what 7-8 years?
At
Is it
least.
The Raiders moved
They
on.
went back to Oakland.
The Raiders went back to Oakland.
And the Rams
then
went to St. Louis.
Oh, it was
a team.
2 decades, Pat.
The
That was a long
biggest
time.
city in the world.
It was 1995 to 2015.
Unbelievable. Is that unbelievable?
It is.
It is incredible.
Well, remember, the theory was, correct me if I'm wrong, that the league always wanted L.A. as a threat if teams didn't build stadiums.
But, I mean,
Remember, because there was the rumor the Vikings were going to move to L.A. if they didn't build a new stadium.
yes, they did. That was
Did St. Louis have an NFL team before the Rams?
yes, the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Went to Arizona.
They went to
Chicago
Arizona,
Cardinals.
yes, yeah.
We were. Here's a history lesson. 1959, the Chicago Cardinals played a regular season game
At Met
Stadium
Yep.
against the Giants, maybe. And the rumors were that they were coming here. 1960, they were going to be here before expansion, because that did not occur until January of '60, and that was when the L was starting, and we were an original franchise, one of the 8s. But Walter Wallner was married to the what's the name of that family down there that owned the racetrack, and what's the name of the old Chicago Cardinals family? Bidwells. He was married to a Bidwell, but he was from St. Louis, so he moved the team to St. Louis instead of here. And then when the AFL was starting, we were the organizational meeting for the AFL, the official organizational meeting. You got to go back and look at these. In December of '59 was here.
Yeah.
We were the heartbeat of the place, and Charlie Johnson wrote an unsigned editorial on the sports section saying, "We don't want you. We want the NFL." He was, because I think somebody from Hallis's operation had told him, "We're going to get you an NFL franchise. Throw these people out." So that's what happened. And then in January, Max went down to the meeting where they were. Bert Bell had died, the commissioner, and they were voting a new commissioner in 1960, and that took a week because Roselle was running against somebody, I don't know who. Roselle finally got voted, and then they announced that they were going to Dallas that fall, right away, and then us in 1961. But
Who bought the team? Max?
Bernie Ritter,
Yep.
Max.
For $600,000.
Bernie had more money, $600,000. Yes.
Wow.
Bernie Ritter, Max. Bernie paid Ole Hogsrud's contribution. Bernie paid it because he liked Ole back from Duluth. Ole owned the Duluth Eskimos when they were in the league, and the Skoglund and Boyer. There were 5 owners, and the Skoglunds and the Boyers, Bernie, Max, and Ole Hogsrud were the.
But it soon became only Max.
Well, Bernie got upset. Now, Bernie was in there for 13, 14 years, but he got upset when Finks left because of the feud with Max, and that's when Bernie sold cheap, like $200,000 or something for what is. And he had basically, I think he had the biggest share. I think he had 30% or something. And then and Max came to power and then Max. Jim Finks left, and Max found this guy who used to hang out at the NFL meetings trying to get a job, trying to get Memphis a franchise. He was
remarkably slick
Mike Lynn. And I just remember being at games, and this guy was standing next to Max, and Max was all bundled up. It'd be cold outside, and Max was all bundled up, and you'd say, "Who the hell's this guy?" And pretty soon, he's taking the team away from Max and becoming the power of the
Boy, he was
franchise.
fun, though.
He was the greatest.
He was fun.
And he gave you and I a great scoop.
Oh,
man.
yeah. We thought Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah, that's right.
We raced
Stop the presses.
back to the paper. I think I got a paragraph.
We were not gonna backstab each other.
No,
on
not going to
this
do a thing.
Huge story.
Yeah.
And it was. I think I got a 2-graph insert in another thing.
I think I got a graph.
Yeah, right.
And it wasn't worth the gas money it took for us to get out there.
Out there, no.
We met at his house.
Yes.
On the lake.
The community
Community Protection Act.
Community Protection Act.
He had it. You know about that?
I vaguely do, but
Yes.
but tell it again.
He was
for those that haven't
he
heard
wanted to create a casino.
Yes, that would
The profits of which would fund the
on
building
the
of
new
the stadium.
Yes.
And it protected the community somehow. I can't remember how it was supposed to protect the community.
Now was that?
Well,
that was
protect the
after-
community from paying for it.
Sure.
That was after that was a new. The Metrodome was already built, though, right?
No.
Wasn't it?
No.
Wasn't it?
No.
Okay. So it was late 70s.
79-ish, right in there.
The Community Protection Act.
And he laid it on pretty good to us, too. You know, he'd look around to make sure no one was here.
Giving this to us exclusively.
Wow, an exclusive.
Knowing that he had two suckers who would run back and write it.
Get out here.
I have a question. If that were to happen today, he would have been able to help himself. That thing would have been all over Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
What? Oh, God, yeah.
Scoop in all caps.
Scoop. Even if it said not Mike Lynn on the top of it.
God, we fell for that so hard.
God.
We were just bursting with pride that we had this. This is going to save everything.
The funny thing is that the public never liked Mike. But if you were covered him,
Right.
you loved him.
Yeah, he was
He'd tell you
nonstop.
Stuff. He'd tell you stuff. You might get lung cancer if you went in and saw him because he never had a non.
Remember the wife?
Oh, yeah.
She was part of the action.
She was a Southern Belle.
Yes, Southern Belle.
And
very,
wasn't it her family that had the money down
had
in
the
Mississippi?
plantation.
Yeah, antebellum.
Yeah.
He got a little heat about that. As a
little heat.
guy running an NFL with a Southern mansion was that who looked
Oh,
just
wasn't
like
a Southern?
it was out of
Wasn't a Southern? It was right out of
antebellum.
what the hell's that movie?
Yeah.
The movie with Clark Gable, and it was right out of Gone with the Wind.
Yes, it was right out of Gone with the Wind. Yeah, and he was very proud. Yeah, Mike, maybe you want to pull that back. But, he ran him until 90, and then
he started, I'm looking at it.
What happened was the Herschel Walker trade backfired, right?
Yeah, when he realized Jimmy was cutting all the players.
He was getting an incredible amount of heat, and he couldn't take it anymore. And then he became the commissioner of the world.
President of the World League of American Football.
And gave us Roger Hedrick as the owner.
He died way too young.
Oh, God, yes.
2012.
What year? How old?
76.
Was it lung cancer?
I can look
He
it up.
worked at it.
I think so.
No, I don't think it was, though. It was something else, some other thing. Yeah, he did. I don't think he was 70.
76.
Oh, was he really?
He was died of a brain tumor.
Wow.
You know, his background was movie theaters.
And
He ran a movie theater.
then didn't we need a supermarket or some damn thing?
But then the next thing you know,
he's
here.
general.
and he just was palling around.
Helping Max around.
Is he the one that called you?
He's replacing Finks. He's replacing Finks, who's like the most revered sports executive this town has ever had.
Is he the one that called you that said, it's about time I'm the turkey of the year?
He's the only one to ever call up and say thank you. It's
about time.
It's pub. It had to be the Herschel Walker trade that he wanted for, I'm sure. He was the greatest. God,
Wonder what he would have said about you last night.
He would have given you that sly look and not said much. He was not outspopen after defeat, you know.
I got to hear O'Connell's quotes. You got any readers on audio?
Let me see.
Bud liked him.
Yeah, he did.
Bud liked him, and Birdsey liked him, and all those old football guys liked him.
Would it have been a Denny? Did he and Denny, or was that
No, Denny was gone before they hired Denny.
Okay.
Yeah, Roger hired Denny, much to Sid's chagrin. At the Denny press conference, started arguing with Roger that he should have hired Pete Carroll. It was great.
Right in front of
black coach in the history of the NFL,
Right.
and he's saying, "How could you hire this guy? You should have hired Pete Carroll."
Do you see he wants to get back in?
Pete. Yeah.
He'd love the chance to coach the Bears.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck, Pete.
All right, Pete.
Well, they need somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody who knows. That,
What do you mean? They got a winning streak.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Somebody who knows that when there's 35 seconds on the clock on the last play of the game, you should probably not let it run down to 0 before you do something.
Or instruct your defensive back, let's just make sure the play is over before we taunt the opposing team's crowd.
Right, that's true.
Because someone had said, was it Stevenson? Is that his name, the defensive back? The curse of whatever his name, Stevenson, is finally over. The Bears win again.
Was he the guy taunting while they were in the midst of throwing the pass?
Pass, and he turned around and said,
Uh-oh.
Because I did a thing on the horrible Chicago at the sports season they're having right now. They're pro teams. The Cubs are mediocre, and they're by far the best. The White Sox
Are terrible.
We're all mad at the Twins, who finished 43 games ahead of the White Sox, I believe, or something like that, 44. And but I was talking to Dan Bernstein, who's been on talk radio down there forever, and I said, well, the meme for this team's got to be Eberflus standing on the sidelines as the clock runs down. No, he said, no. The meme for this team that will never die is Tyreek Stevenson going like this to the fans as the other team's throwing a Hail Mary to win the game.
It was Washington, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And basically ended up getting Washington in the playoffs.
Well, that, and keep in mind, they were 4-2 or 5-2 at the time. Or, yeah, it was 4-2 at the time.
Were they that good?
Yeah, because they
that early in
they
the season?
lost 10 games in a row or something like that, 9 or 10 in a row.
Unbelievable. So, and what were you looking up for, sir?
Oh, I'm trying to find O'Connell quotes here.
Well, his 12-minute press conference after the game he was rattled. He was rattled. But I don't know if he's at his press conference today or not.
I don't know what time that usually. Since we don't really monitor those things anymore like we used to in the radio days, but I could see if I could find something here at the old website.
Yeah, he was trying to. He basically admitted that Sam was not at his best.
Right.
And he said,
I think Sam did too.
We had some open receivers. Well, Sam was, he was.
I got to tell you though, you know who's really impressed me this year? That Van Ginkel's a player, man.
Yeah. Oh, so is the other guy, Grenard.
Yeah.
Those two guys.
But he was that close from having another pick six last night, the Van Ginkel.
Yeah, well, the defense made Jared Goff, who's had a fantastic season, look very shaky the first half.
Mm-hmm. Although you would make him get a haircut.
I would make him get a haircut. You got to get a haircut.
I think you want it to be legal that they can pull hair.
Yes, they can.
I think it is already. I don't think you get fined for it.
I don't think you just reach around and when a guy's. No, I'm saying you can't even call holding if he's rushing the quarterback if they grab his hair.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Because I mean, they would mostly call a penalty for grabbing a body part,
Sure.
holding. But if it's the hair that's sticking out, you just pull them down.
What can the league do about holding penalties? I don't know how you fix that.
I don't know.
Because they can get one every play if you want.
Not so much in the line, but the ones in the secondary drive me crazy when you kind of hold a guy up. And some nights, some crews are going to call them all, and some aren't going to call any of them. So it's the inconsistency is amazing. But people love it, man. And you know why yesterday? Because 6 games and 2 minutes to go, and you don't know who's going to win the early time slot.
Obviously a disappointing effort, but you have to compliment those guys on the other side for playing a really good football game, and we didn't do a lot of the things that we've consistently done all season long, and this game came down to finishing in the red zone, weighting down.
Okay, yeah.
I did not at all doubt their effort. They were just inept.
Yeah, they were offensively. They were inept.
Yeah.
And after a while, the defense wore out.
Yeah, they were tired.
But they, in Darnold's defense, and then there's not much defense to give him. He did get clobbered.
Yeah, he did.
The offensive line did not have a good day either. They were trying to tell us how great Cam Robinson was. At the same time, people were running around him. So it was.
Where do you two guys stand on the decision a couple of times not to kick the field goal?
It didn't bother me.
When they were down there close to the time, I saw you wanted the field goal.
Oh, my God.
That didn't bother me.
In a tight game like that, though,
When you can tell,
in the first half,
when you can tell your quarterback doesn't have it, and when the momentum is starting to shift the way it had, you got to take the points.
But
on
at
the
that
road.
point,
I think it
was too early to say he didn't have it.
Would have been made but it was 17-9, and they didn't kick.
Right, and you just ran 3 straight plays inside the 10 and got 0 yardage.
Yeah.
I thought
you within a touchdown, 17-12. I don't know.
Because in my opinion, I think it's just as bad as a turnover.
Maybe if you're coaching against this crazy SOB,
I get it.
Who goes for it all the time, you figured you got to go for it.
I guess that's the mentality, right? I don't understand that at all.
You know what the meme for last night's game is? 7 minutes to go. Their defensive coordinator's over sitting on the bench, relaxing. And Aaron Glenn, there was a great photo of him over there. And usually they're studying their sheet, doing that whole thing, and he's just kind of sitting there. He's saying, boy, did I kick their ass
Well,
today.
he did have a hell of a plan.
Oh, God, he did.
It really did work.
Yeah, I think their thing was, we got to get physical with the receivers, and if they let us do it, we'll be fine. And also go after the quarterback hard. I didn't realize, I guess I haven't paid enough attention, that he generally, Darnold, as he's had this extremely successful season, holds the ball longer than like all but 3 or 4 other quarterbacks. So he does hold it like 3.5 seconds or something when he's getting ready to pass.
But to say Darnold wasn't at his best is a lot different than it looked like he had never played before.
Yes, it looked like the reason this is his 4th team, right?
Yeah.
4th team, it looked like.
But he's never had a chance until O'Connell has done wonders with him. Mm-hmm. And he had his chance this year. He went 14-2. Now what are they? 14-3.
Yes, and it's and they go to the Rams.
Okay, now the question:
be interesting how he shows up.
Does he bounce back?
I think he'd have to really bounce back. I think the idea of franchising him and guaranteeing him $40 million because somebody will give you a number 1 draft choice for him. If they get beat Monday night, that's off the table, and he'll just be walking looking for a job after that.
But he'll still get a decent payday from somebody.
But it ain't going to be what it was. People were talking $250 and big deals and all that. It's not going to be that.
What has to happen for the Vikes to play Detroit again?
They have to be the lowest remaining seed.
If Philadelphia, Tampa, and the Vikes win, then it's the Vikings going to Detroit.
Okay.
But I don't know, Washington should beat Tampa, although Washington hasn't been playing.
I think Tampa wins that because Tampa can score. But you know what? As much as I hate to say, I think the Packers can beat Philadelphia.
I do too.
Love's hurt
because
Philadelphia.
But so is Hurts.
Well,
Philadelphia's Love's going to play though. They said he could have played. He basically had a. Remember when you used to hit your crazy bone?
Yep.
That's he basically hit his crazy bone. That's
he said, "Oh, my arm."
Yeah, that's right. So anyhow, it was eventful. But hey, Joe, we'll always have the mayonnaise bowl.
Oh gosh! You know that he actually said that's what college football is all about getting mayonnaise dumped on you. He actually said that because he was asked about the mayonnaise, and he said, "This is what makes college football worth it. This is what it's all about: is to have somebody dump mayonnaise on you."
Apparently, it was not. The crowd was rather small.
Oh, I'm shocked.
The whole upper bowl there was nobody in it.
And here's the other thing: I didn't watch it more than a minute.
I caught a bit of it on the radio, but
apparently the plugs for Duke's mayonnaise were just unbelievable.
Yep.
But
I didn't even know that was a brand.
Yeah, it's a Southern thing.
I know Hellman's.
I have gotten Duke's at.
Is there a Hellman's bowl?
No, the Hellman's, they don't have it. But
college football has class. Only one mayonnaise.
Duke's mayo.
Duke's is big in the South, and in fact, I have bought Duke's when I had the place down in Florida. It's got a little more tang to it. It got a little more mustard or something. But anyway, some guy was on Facebook or something ripping how awful it was, the announcers, the plugs for Duke's. And you know who responded and said it was worse even in the stadium? Gopher lover Dave Mona responded and said it was brutal. It was just awful. The plugs, the constant plugs for Duke's mayonnaise, and
that's got to be a low rent bowl, though. They didn't have to pay that much.
Well, they don't. You know, the Big Ten basically covers the cost for you to go and play in these third-rate bowl games.
Now, that's
You
how
don't
many
make
for
any-
PJ? 6?
6 is he's won. He's unbeaten, right?
I think so. Yeah, he hasn't lost.
He's
In fact, the
it
Gophers
helps
are
that 5 out of the 6 have been piss-and bowl games.
because
But,
the 2 preceding PJ were also victories.
yes,
One was the quick.
Tracy beat a good team though.
Washington State.
He
That's
beat
right.
Mike Lynch in the Holiday Bowl. And then I can't remember. Oh, that was another Quick Lane Bowl before that, right?
Yeah, that's
And they
what I
won.
attended.
Yes, you did.
The
You were
2015
the spotter.
I was Mike Grimm's spotter for the
Spotter.
Are
2015.
bowl games over now?
No, heavens no.
Well,
Yeah, they are.
The playoff games are left, but the real one.
No, I'm not counting the playoff games.
The 40,
Right.
the small 40. Yeah, no, we got. But the good game is as a good follower of the Holy Roman Church that you are, even though you're not Irish, you got to be rooting
I'm
for
Irish. I'm Irish.
Yeah, you're rooting. You got.
Well, I'm half Irish.
Mom's.
No, I'm 3/4 Irish.
Grew up in Assad Hut.
Oh, that's right. Hell, and your mom was a what?
My mom was McHale.
McHale.
My dad's mom was McQuillan.
Yes, you're as Irish as it
I
gets.
got this,
damn it.
that. Go Notre Dame.
Yes. So we gotta root for
Who do they
Notre
have,
Dame
Texas?
on Thursday against Penn State.
Penn
I think they'll
State.
beat them. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they're better than Penn State.
Notre Dame will beat
although
Penn State.
They got the short rest because of the
True.
the
When is it? This Thursday?
crazy guy in New Orleans. That's Thursday because they're afraid of the NFL. So one of their semifinals is Thursday and the other's Friday.
Okay.
And then Texas and
Ohio State.
Ohio State, who looked like the machine they're supposed to be. You know, Ohio State. You know how much they spent on NIL? $20 million for this team here this year, and it's going to get higher.
You know, if Notre Dame goes on to become the national champions, those guys at Northern Illinois they'll have that the rest of their life.
We beat these.
We beat
chumps.
them.
Yes, what the hell? And I
In
think
their place.
I think they had a bowl game this year.
I hope so.
I don't know who they played.
I hope
but,
so.
I was turning it on the other day, and I flipped on the TV, and there was a bowl game between Texas State and North Texas. And I said, what have we become here in America? What have we become when Texas State, which we don't even know what it used to be called something else, is playing the Mean Green from North Texas, and they're both 6-6, and we're trying to call it a bowl game. Stop!
There is a game tonight.
It was a 2-point close match, though, 30-28. Texas State did come out with the victory.
North Dakota
3,200
State
people. Yes.
and Montana
now
State.
that's for the FCS title. That means something.
Right, but is there a chance that could be played in weather?
It's
I wonder where
outside.
it is.
It's in Toyota Stadium in Frisco,
Oh,
Texas. I wrote a column about
there's no weather there.
The kid from Marshall, Bryce Lance, kid brother of Trey Lance.
Oh, yeah.
Is become a superstar receiver. He's the guy that made the one-handed catch.
You know what? I think I saw him play at high school because they played
Marshall.
Faribault.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think I
he
saw him
was a
play in high school.
receiver.
Texas is clear of any weather.
But we got the midsection of the U.S. is got quite the ice storm.
Oh, yeah.
Now
stuff
it's even
going
it's
on.
moved off east more.
Is it?
Yeah.
More? Well, you know what I saw today? Obviously, there was not much traffic again today. People are still taking their Christmas vacations, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's
2-week holiday.
It's incredible. But you know who took the day off?
Who?
The person in charge of messages on the freeway boards.
Oh.
Because it said,
You think there's a guy sitting in a room with a computer and he
yeah.
does that and he took the day off?
beware of snowplows, it
Oh.
said, which did not seem timely, in my opinion.
Sunny day.
Since the freeway was drier than it is in July when we're having a drought. I don't want that message. I like the quippy little ones, like
You want a real message.
don't tweet and drive or something like that.
Don't be a fool and carpool or something like that.
Like
Yeah.
that. I don't want. Beware of snowplows. Beware of the back off.
You might
the
add
plow
that to
or
the list
whatever.
of stuff he doesn't
Yeah, I
like.
don't like
Bad
that.
freeway messaging.
I mean, how hard can it be?
Yeah.
You got to come up with 5 words.
Yep.
And as overstuffed as the highway department is, there's got to be somebody in charge.
There you go.
Where is that list kept?
Melanie, who's a 35-year-old graduate of Dartmouth.
Yeah.
Is that what she comes
The
up
master list is on my desk at home in my office.
You can't. You shouldn't misplace that.
Oh, God,
I
no.
think it should be brought in here.
Under lock and key?
Yes.
Okay.
with? Because if you ever need to do a memorial show, that would be what you want to
Right.
do.
I might need one next week.
Yes,
You never know.
Who knows? You don't know. You do not know. That's for sure.
I don't like bad freeway.
Bad freeway
I want a
messaging.
little effort. You know, I wrote this story and I wrote this column last
Give me something for the
I
effort.
wrote this column last week about Blake Cashman, the middle linebacker for the. And he was Eden Prairie superstar. He played well for the Gophers. This is his third NFL team, but he's playing great for these guys. But his brother. He had a brother who was 1 year younger, and once got in a fight, the two of them, and the brother ended up with a broken hand, and the fight was because Austin, his brother, did not do a good enough job vacuuming the basement. Because he has high standards.
Mm-hmm.
We got to have higher standards for our freeway signs. That's for sure.
What's a clean carpet? Is what
Yes. His mother said, I said, is this true? And she said, yeah, but he wants you to give it 100%. If you don't, any task, you got to, He didn't have one of his best games last night, though. I didn't think he missed a couple
Yeah,
of
he did
tackles.
miss a couple tackles.
Yeah,
But boy,
but he doesn't very often.
that Gibbs is a good running back.
He's good. I liked him a lot last year from the get. They got a lot of heat for taking a running back 12th,
Yeah.
but I'd say they were right.
How did the Wild have been playing?
Unbelievable.
Pretty good without the commie.
No commie. Okay, here's my question to you. I've asked this to a couple of people today. The commie's great, but is Eck just as valuable to that team? Because he plays defense, he scores goals, and he wins a face-off, and he holds down the other team from scoring. Is he just as valuable to you as Kaprizov?
You got to go with the commie.
You got to go with the goals,
Yeah.
the ability to score a goal. He's close, though.
If you don't shoot,
Right.
You don't score.
you don't score.
But Eck is a superstar, I think.
Yeah, I like him.
him. They got him cheaper than hell, too.
Faber's a hell of a player.
Faber's great.
Boldy's a hell of a player.
Well, they're down on him.
They are?
Taking dumb penalties, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they're down on him. But he's got talent as far as
Who's going to score the goals?
he can put the biscuit in the basket.
Who was that?
That was Lemaire.
That's Jacques?
Who's going to score the goals?
Who's going to score the
Who's going
goals?
to score the goals?
Well, you never worried about it when you coached.
That sure don't sound like him.
Really?
Yeah.
It's labeled Lemaire.
Who's going to score the goals?
Yeah, that's a little bit of him.
You think so?
Yeah.
I could look for a different cut.
No, that's fine.
And the Timberwolves, I don't know what to
Oh,
think
my
about
God.
them. You know what I fear? Bad chemistry.
Ant gets 53 and doesn't talk
Right.
after the game because he's so upset.
Well, he'd get fined,
Now,
probably.
it could be because he might have said, how did we lose this bleeping game? And then they'd fine him again. They got to stop stealing his money. You got to.
Or don't talk to him.
Yeah, well, he refused to talk, but now they can fine you for cooperating with the media.
Oh.
He's got to. I bet he can get a doctor to send an excuse to the envy, what are the
He's got
people-
Tourette's.
He's resting his voice.
He's got a twinge of Tourette's,
Yep.
which causes him to swear.
Sure.
I think he can get somebody to do that, slip the doctor $20,000 to tell the league that. It'll think of money, it'll save him.
That's a good point.
When they
At $100,000 a pop, he could lose a lot of money.
I know. He's making a lot, but it's stupid that they can do that to you. You can go out there, you can look like an idiot with long hair in the NFL. Nobody says anything. But if you get, if you swear in the NBA, they can fine you. One other thing I did say yesterday on Twitter, I would rather have the opposing team score a touchdown than the Vikings do any more of these contrived skits that take 15 seconds in the end zone. I'm sick of those. I don't like those.
I like them.
Do you really?
I like when they do the high school dance or the movie thing.
Okay, well,
I've gotten to the point where I'm anticipating it.
Okay.
Well, I think the reason I share Pat's sentiment to a certain degree, where if that's what you're focusing on, that's a problem.
Cam, that's what I was trying to say today. Cam, if you would have concentrated a little more on the scouting report than coming up with a dance. Now the dance last night didn't last too long, right?
They
had nothing last night that they had their heart in.
No, really. Even the early turnover that they got.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, that's enough.
What is there anything? We got Miami, blah 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 blah. I guess we're good.
He's looking at his notes.
Yep, you got notes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
and here was going to be a 2-minute bit, but it's not Quasi.
It's not the guy.
It's not Quasi.
Not Quasi. You know what? There's a lot of tricksters out there in social media, and they're taking advantage of us old guys, too, right?
Right.
All right.